So, have you ever found yourself wondering why the biggest, most modern organizations on the planet rely so heavily on stateful firewalls instead of the traditional stateless ones? I mean, what exactly is the difference under the hood? And more importantly, which one actually offers the kind of security a modern network demands? Well, if you've ever been a bit tangled up in the terminology, you are in exactly the right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking some fantastic source material from Cyventra Technologies to break down stateful versus stateless firewalls in the simplest, most intuitive way possible. We're going to look at their working principles, dig into some real-world use cases, and figure out exactly which one is the best fit for your specific network. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the firewall baseline, move into stateless firewalls, then stateful firewalls, lay out the ultimate comparison, and finally, help you decide which one you should actually choose. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the firewall baseline. Before we compare the two, let's just make sure we're on the same page. A firewall is basically a network security device, or sometimes it's just software, that monitors and controls all incoming and outgoing network traffic based on some predefined security rules. It is the ultimate boundary enforcer, sitting right there between the wild, open internet and your private internal network. Think of it like a security guard standing at the front entrance of a highly secure corporate building. The guard's entire job is to evaluate the traffic and decide who gets a green tick to enter and who gets a red cross and absolutely must stay outside. Keep this security guard analogy in the back of your mind because it's going to be incredibly useful as we break down our two contenders today. Moving right along to Section 2, inside stateless firewalls. So, the crucial thing to understand here is that a stateless firewall examines every single network packet entirely on its own. It operates completely independently. It looks at basic rules, things like the source IP address, the destination IP, the protocol, and the port number. If a packet matches the rule, great, it's allowed through. If it doesn't, it's blocked. But here's the real kicker. It has absolutely zero memory of past packets or ongoing connections. Let's bring back our security guard analogy to really lock this concept in. A stateless firewall is essentially an amnesiac guard. Imagine someone walks into the building on Monday, and this guard checks their ID. Everything looks good, they pass, they go in. On Tuesday, that exact same person returns. But our guard, he has complete amnesia. He has no memory of ever seeing them before. Every single visit, every single packet, is checked completely from scratch. Now, this amnesiac approach actually brings some very specific attributes to the table. Because it's just doing a really quick surface-level check, processing is incredibly fast. It requires very low memory usage and is super simple to configure, which honestly makes it great for high-speed, simple networks. But the downsides are pretty severe. Because it cannot detect the actual state of a connection, it's significantly less secure. It's so much easier for an attacker to spoof packets and trick the system simply because the firewall isn't looking at the broader context of the conversation. Which brings us to Section 3, inside stateful firewalls. Now, what totally changes the game here is the introduction of memory. Unlike the stateless firewall, a stateful firewall remembers every single active connection. It does this by maintaining what's called a state table. This tracks IPs, ports, and TCP status, so it checks this table first, instantly allowing packets from established connections. If the packet isn't part of an existing session, then and only then does it evaluate it against the strict security rules. Going back to our building entrance, the stateful firewall is the smart guard. When a visitor enters, this guard actually records their details in a logbook. If that exact same visitor steps out to grab lunch and comes back during the same session, the guard instantly recognizes them and just waves them through. They understand the context of the visit. Because of this added intelligence, the attributes shift dramatically. You're getting significantly higher security and much better protection against spoofing simply because the firewall tracks active sessions intelligently. This makes it absolutely ideal and honestly a necessity for enterprise networks. However, this intelligence definitely has a cost. Maintaining that state table uses more memory, it's slightly slower than a stateless firewall, and the configuration is definitely a bit more complex. Let's put them head-to-head in Section 4, the ultimate comparison. When we compare the core differences side by side, it really comes down to connection tracking. Stateless is a hard no. Stateful is a yes. Because of that, stateless uses low memory and operates faster, but it only offers basic security. Stateful requires higher memory and is just a tiny bit slower, but in exchange, you're getting advanced connection-level security. Simply put, stateless is fast but less intelligent, while stateful trades a tiny fraction of speed for a massive, massive upgrade in security. Let's ground this in a real-world example that we literally do dozens of times a day. Say you type www.example.com into your browser. Your computer sends a request out. The server receives it and sends a response back. A stateful firewall remembers your original request. It knows you asked for this data, so it safely allows the server's response right back in. A stateless firewall, on the other hand, just sees a random packet arriving from the outside. It has zero idea it's part of a valid conversation you started. Because of that, you actually have to write much looser, inherently riskier rules just to allow basic web traffic to function at all. So, wrapping things up with Section 5, which should you choose? Here's your final decision-making framework. You're going to want to go with a stateless firewall if you need maximum, uncompromising speed, your network is extremely simple, and basic packet filtering is enough for your specific risk profile. However, you absolutely must choose a stateful firewall if security is your priority. If you're protecting enterprise infrastructure, data centers, or cloud environments, you want intelligent traffic monitoring, and you need robust protection against modern cyber attacks, stateful is the way to go. As we wrap up this explainer based on the insights from Cyventra Technologies, I want to leave you with a quick question to ponder about your own setup. Take a hard look at your infrastructure today. Is your network relying on traditional speed, or have you upgraded to modern security? Because in today's threat landscape, context really is everything. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I hope this gives you exactly the clarity you need to secure your future.